just take my notes and then I don't have to say anything.
Thank you.
That's confidential. Isn't it? Oh, we'll just wait for... That's my hat hair.
At least you get a nice breeze whilst you're waiting.
That's true.
Brendan, you can fix this up.
Sure.
How's your morning?
Good, we've been in Gympie.
Yeah? Nice there?
Yeah, we had a really good meeting with the council. Are we ready now? Just a second. Cameras keep getting smaller.
We'll blame it on the heat.
Good to go now? Excellent. Ex-tropical cyclone Seth caused devastation right across the Wide Bay Burnett region. Tragically, lives were lost, and our thoughts continue to be with those families who are grieving. Homes, farms, businesses and roads were all damaged, and the Palaszczuk government has been working closely with all of the affected local governments on recovery arrangements. We've extended hardship and essentials payments. We've been funding local government for clean-up and repair work. We already have loans available for businesses, small businesses and primary producers to support them through this period, and today we're announcing the extension of that support for small businesses and for primary producers. The Queensland government and the Australian government will together extend extraordinary assistance grants to primary producers and small businesses. This will provide primary producers and small businesses affected in those local government areas with grants of up to $50,000, including quick upfront grants of up to $10,000. We have here with us today the State Recovery Coordinator, former Governor Paul de Jersey, the CEO and Chair of the Queensland Reconstruction Authority, and together we're touring the region, making sure that everyone has the support that they need. We were in Gympie this morning where we heard from the Mayor and the Council about the recovery, the extraordinary recovery effort underway there, and I want to congratulate them on their efforts. We've just arrived in Maryborough. We'll also be in North Burnett tomorrow, and we want to assure everyone in all of those regions affected that just because the floodwaters have receded, we are still there with you. Queenslanders and the Queensland government are still here with you through what will be a multi-year recovery effort. The Small Business Minister, Di Farmer, will talk to the small business grants. Local member Bruce Saunders. We then have Brendan from the QRA and Mr de Jersey to talk about the state reconstruction effort.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, 8 days ago, everyone across Queensland was watching Maryborough and the broader region cope with rising floodwaters, and we were all behind you and so worried for you. Fortunately, the peak did not reach the levels that had been predicted, but I want to really acknowledge the efforts of Mayor Seymour and his whole team of police and the whole community, which has worked together so strongly to bring back Maryborough and the region to the point it is right now. But the message we want to send today is that the community here does not have to do this on its own. And we are announcing today support that will be available to businesses in the Fraser Coast, Gympie, North and South Burnett and Bundaberg Regional Council areas. And I want to thank the Premier for writing to the Prime Minister very quickly to activate the Category D grants. What this will mean is that businesses will be eligible for grants of up to $50,000 to help them in the recovery efforts, to do the cleaning up, to restock, to do whatever they need to do to get themselves back on track again. And we have been in Gympie this morning. We've already heard some stories of devastation there, particularly with primary producers, but other small businesses. Everything we are doing right from the beginning and from this point is to make sure we are supporting small businesses to get back on track. So from today, businesses, primary producers can get $10,000 straight away. You submit an invoice, you submit the photos, you go to qrider.qld.gov.au and you can get that money straight away, and then the rest of the money is available to you as things progress. But the support does not just stop there. The Business Queensland staff are working closely with Council. Council set up an economic recovery team and state government representatives are on that team. Together they will be going door to door to every single business to see what they need to be able to access those grants and any other support that's available. Department of Communities is setting up a hub which will provide online and face-to-face support, but we want businesses, we want primary producers in these communities to know we are there for them, and we'll be going out. Please, we want them to contact us, but we will be going out and actively making sure that those businesses have every single thing they can do. Hand over to our local member Bruce Saunders, who I know has been absolutely tireless in making sure that this community has been looked after.
Thanks very much, Di. Thank you for the Deputy Premier for coming today, and also Mr Paul de Jersey. And we know we're in safe hands with the recovery here, having a man of that quality and calibre in charge of the recovery. I'd just like to thank the Deputy Premier and Minister Farm for their quick response, and the Premier for this. This will help our CBD get back and get our business people back on their feet again, because we know after the 2013 floods we suffered a lot through our CBD. This will get business confidence going again. This is what a good government does, working with the Fraser Coast Regional Council. And if I can just say, thank all the frontline services, the police, the SES, Rural Fireys, the Fraser Coast Regional Council, but also I want to thank some of the people who we didn't see on the front line during the disaster, the people who stayed behind and manned telephones, who organised the trucks to be here, who organised it. There was a whole raft of people who no one saw, but who worked very, very hard also to make sure that the response to this flood was top notch. And all the years I've been in politics, I've never seen emergency services and the Fraser Coast Regional Council, the police, Ergon, all work together to get such a response that we saw last weekend and ensuing days. And now we've moved into the recovery phase with the state government, with the federal government, and also now with the Fraser Coast Regional Council. So it's been a big team effort. I'd like to thank everyone, but also I'd like to thank the Deputy Premier, as I said earlier, and Minister Farmer for coming here today and making sure that our business community and our farmers get back on their feet.
Thank you very much, Deputy Premier, Minister and Mayor George. We know the best results as we recover from natural disasters here in Queensland is when it is locally led. and it has been fantastic to see the community and also the local council come together to commence that recovery here in Fraser Coast and also areas to the south of us in Gympie, North Burnett and South Burnett. Our priorities now is to support the local recovery groups as they get people back into their homes, as they reconnect their communities, and also as their businesses start to trade again, and also primary producers start to produce what we rely on so heavily for. As an integral part of this recovery, we'll also be working to ensure that the resilience of our communities is also enhanced. We've experienced a massive event in this particular part of the world, and I think there are some important lessons in terms of how we address disaster risk and also how we ensure that our communities are more resilient after this event. Thank you.
I've forgotten how hot it can get in Maryborough. I want to echo comments which have been made so far by complimenting the government, the state government, with Commonwealth support for having acted so quickly. It was only a week ago, I think, that the Premier rang me and asked me whether I would assume this role. So things have moved very quickly, and I think the governments need to be complimented on that. Thank you all very much for coming here today and supporting this wonderful community. Thank you.
Taking on this role, what is your first and primary concern of the people in the Wide Bay that have been flood affected?
Their welfare, of course, and that involves propping them up to an extent. They're very grateful beneficiaries of what the government can do for them, but it's also very important, I think, to recognise the emotional toll that these events take on people. So that will be monitored.
Have you had a chance to get out and speak to people yet? Will you be doing that today?
We had a meeting in Gympie this morning, and we're in Maryborough now, of course, then we go to Hervey Bay, and then tomorrow to Biggenden, where I'm looking forward very much to the chance to speak with many of the residents and to reassure them.
How does it feel to be back in Maryborough?
Oh, it's lovely. As you know, I have great affection for this town, this city. I spent the first years of my schooling at the Albert State School. About 4 years we lived here, and I have loved coming back to Maryborough many times since. It's a beautiful city, very well maintained by the council and has the support of the government.
How long do you anticipate the recovery effort will take in the Wide Bay region?
Well, we were told yesterday, that this morning in Gympie, that it could take 4 to 5 years. There's a lot of work to be done, but it's not a short exercise, in short.
And I suppose it must be quite an honour to be able to fulfil this role. Do you think that you're ready to take on the responsibility?
Yes? I'd hardly disagree with that. But it is a great honour and privilege to be asked to do this and to continue to help the people, which has been, I would hope it's thought, a signature of my governorship for the last 7+ years.
And what do you think is going to be the greatest challenge for you?
I think the greatest challenge will be to recognise where resources are needed, but I'm very ably counselled in that regard by the authority, but I think it is important that there be someone leading this recovery effort to whom the people can refer matters, and I will be all ears for any advice that they want to give me.
Are you aware that people more in the west and in those smaller communities are feeling a little bit forgotten, or have been in the last week? Obviously a lot of attention on Maryborough. Do you think that maybe the smaller communities feeling a little bit isolated?
Yes, well that's why we're going to Biggenden tomorrow for a start. But yes, it's an interesting facet of life, isn't it? When so much attention is given to the primary centres, that others also impacted may feel left out, and we'll be doing our utmost to recover that situation.
Thank you. I want to thank the Deputy Premier for being here today to see firsthand the impacts of the flood, to meet with business owners and see the recovery and see everyone that's involved in the recovery. Right from the start, everything we have needed from the state government we've received, often before asking it, through the advocacy of our state member Bruce Saunders, through all the services, police, SCS, Rural Fire Brigades, QFES. We have been very, very happy with throughout the flood in terms of how well the different agencies have worked well together. Ergon have done an amazing job in getting everybody's electricity back on board, main roads, opening bridges, and now Minister of Farmers Department here helping businesses and primary industries and others recover. So I want to thank the state government. They have been here with us, helping our community through the flood and now in the recovery. So I can't thank Bruce Saunders enough and the state government for how they have supported and ensured that all the help that we need has been here.
And George, you see the devastation here firsthand. How much do you think that these grants were really needed?
Yeah, these grants are really, really important. Household grants, the primary industries, enormously. I mean, the fencing, the loss of livestock, and then in people's homes, you go to the pocket, you'll find people who really, really need that essential household grant and the other support. And there's a lot of support at the Community Recovery Centre right now.
And have we had any progression on the investigations into the floodgates yet?
Yeah, we've got independent professional engineers going through that right now to make sure that that never happens again.
On the grants themselves, we've seen a lot of dams burst around the region as well. Will this funding be able to be used by primary producers to reinstate dams, build their dams back?
That's right. These grants are designed to support primary producers to recover the damage that they've incurred, including if that's to their water infrastructure.
Is there any requirements that businesses need to meet to be able to qualify for these grants?
There are going to be a myriad of questions about these grants. Everyone's going to have specific circumstances. What we're saying to people is if you have the slightest doubt, never rule yourself out, just ring the hotline and just ask, am I eligible? But these grants are to cover as many different impacts as we can possibly imagine. So really encourage people, if you've got an issue that needs solving with these grants, please just contact us and we will have someone walk you through it.
How much money as a whole was provided for these grants from the federal government?
I'll actually have to refer to the to the Reconstruction Authority. I'm not sure of the total amount, so I'll just get Brendan to come and answer that question.
Thank you, Minister. So at this particular point in time, the total grant funding pool is uncapped. It is based on a needs basis and also on an impact basis. If a primary producer, if an individual, if a small business, if a not-for-profit organisation qualify under the eligibility criteria, they will be funded.
Who do you think is going to benefit most from this?
Well, I think what's important is it is seen as providing support to people's recovery. And what we will see is this is very much a needs-based program. As I said earlier, if an individual, if a primary producer or if a small business has been impacted by this event, importantly, they can access financial support. It can be a grant, it can be a loan.
And how have you been speaking with business owners? Have you gone door to door? We saw some community outreach people going through today.
And that's our approach, is to get an understanding, what are the impacts on the ground. We went through the CBD with your Mayor and the CEO of the Council last week on the day after the floods resided, and we got a lot of information and a lot of feedback about what small businesses actually needed. And at this point in time, what they're looking for is that financial support to start their recovery, and that's been activated today.
Just one for the Deputy Premier. There are calls for the state government to give COVID relief payments to struggling Queenslanders. What's your response?
We've done a lot to support business throughout the entire pandemic and continue to do so, but the the most important thing that we were able to do was to keep the economy largely running throughout last year, and that means that businesses here in Queensland are in a much better position than their southern counterparts, but we do understand that there are ongoing and continuing impacts. The largest impacts at the moment are workforce shortages from people who have either been diagnosed with COVID or who are close contacts of people diagnosed with COVID, and so we continue to work to ensure that particularly those essential workers can get back to work as quickly as possible so that we can continue to have goods on our supermarket shelves, continue to provide electricity and water, those essentials, and we'll continue to do that.
Just in regards to the Caloundra Youth Remand Centre, we've heard reports that you're abandoning the proposal. Why is that coming about?
So our youth justice reforms are working, but as a result of them, there are now more young people in the youth justice system than there were before those reforms. We anticipated that, and so we had a range of short, medium and long-term measures prepared to address that increase that we expected. One of those was to repurpose the Caloundra Watch House as a youth remand centre. We then went about consulting with the Caloundra community about that, and that was led by Jason Hunt, the local MP for that area, as well as the Youth Justice Department. The feedback from the community was very strongly that they did not think that that was an appropriate use for that facility, and we've heard them. We've listened to them, and in response we will not be proceeding with the repurposing of that facility, and I'd like to thank Jason Hunt for the work he did consulting the community and how he went about quietly within the government ensuring that decision makers understood the level of concern within his community. That very much informed our decision.
So the LNP is saying the government has wasted millions already on this proposal and they should have done more consultation with the community first before beginning any work. What's your response?
Look, this was the result of consultation. I understand some early preparation work was undertaken, but that facility will continue to be used by police as a watch house. So the investments there will continue to be of value to the facility. But now we've heard the concerns of the Caloundra community via our local government member, Jason Hunt, and we won't be proceeding with that proposal. Very good. Thank you all.